Someone asks, is your life purpose permanent or does it change with time?
When it comes to life purpose, it's always one theme that you would be really driven by, but it can actually change over time, right? Like, for example, you can find out your calling. If you just look into your life in a bigger picture, there's always some, like, one particular theme that you're doing, right? And your calling is it's kind of like your north, your true north, basically meaning that it will guide you in every decision that you make. And in terms of coaching, I do that. I have a process whereby you can find your core calling. That is what really drives you. But as you evolve and you grow as a person, there's always going to be something that really impacts you. Might be, someone in your family that has cancer or something, and that impacts you to take action on a different purpose. But at the fundamental level, there's always a reason why you started that thing in the first place. Yeah.
How do you define life purpose?
So in terms of life purpose, to me, it's really why, it's the underlying reason why you get up in the morning, what drives you, and, understanding, who we are and why we are here, the reason why you are born, and really bringing that to life in everything that you do, really. I mean, in particular for me, life purpose, I have been very driven to apply that in my career, right? So every career decision that I've taken, I've always asked myself, what's the purpose of this? And so that's what I mean by life purpose. It's really going beyond and knowing what is bigger than yourself in order to contribute to the world and bring meaning to life. And, I feel that in terms of life purpose, it's about growing and giving. If there was two words to it, it would be being able to grow as a person, and also giving, contributing beyond yourself. Yeah. So it's a process, I feel, that we kind of evolve into as a life purpose. Yeah.
Can we also talk about career versus job? Like, what's kind of like the difference between these two?
In terms of job, right? There's no right or wrong which one comes first, but it just so happened for me that I have innately been driven by purpose. And there are three camps of people. One camp is that they don't know that there is a purpose, and they just don't really care about it. Second of all is that there are people who really know what they're passionate about, and they're already doing it. And there's the third camp who believe that there's a purpose and there's something bigger beyond themselves, but they don't know what it is. So the third camp usually would come to me to really find their innate purpose. And the difference between having a job and a career, this is just my personal point of view, is that a job is just, you show up, you do what you have to do, and that's it. Like, it's kind of like a 9 to 5, going with the motion, and then going home and doing what you like.
Mentioned that the people you work with, so they believe there's a purpose to them, but they don't really know what it is. So you mentioned that there are some like coaching tools that are able to help people. Could you just like walk us through some of them?
When coaching clients come to me, basically they have a block
Okay.
because they don't know what their purpose is, right? And so there's a few questions. I mean, there's a whole process to
Wow.
it,
Okay. Okay.
right? That I take them through in terms of their journey. But most of all, it's usually there's something that's blocking them from their purpose. It could be, for example, confidence, or in society, right? We are told and we are conditioned to think that, okay, a job is a job, and you graduate, you go to work, and you get your money and all that. And sometimes it's really ingrained in us that we forget about anything beyond that, right? And so yeah, that is when I come in, because if they feel that there is something beyond that, we really dive into really finding out who they are as an individual. Because in order to find your purpose, right, it's really understanding what brings meaning to you. And usually what brings meaning to you is certain things that happened in your life. For example, if you have a crisis or a major life event that really had some huge impact to you, or really discovering who you are as a person, in terms of your values, and in terms of your passion. So a few questions that I usually ask my clients is,
I'm taking notes. Yeah.
I always ask my clients, what is your natural gift? If it's natural to you, then you probably won't notice it, right? But
Yeah.
your friends do. The coaching tools is really to discover, your gifts, your passion, and your values, and your life journey, what really has impacted you. And before we even go into that, it's really also diving deep into your blocks, your limiting beliefs. Because I do have clients that say, "Oh, Sophie, I I'm not a confident person, right? And I'm not able to climb up the ladder." But is that really true? Is that true? Because it might be that you have a challenge in talking about, like talking in front of a group, for example, or voicing out your opinions. But that's really deep rooted into your beliefs, right? And I've seen it with my own eyes that when I'm able to facilitate and coach my client to see the possibilities in their life, then they unlock more possibilities and space for them to grow in their organizations, or even climb up or get their promotion, for example, that they're looking for, or even changing and transitioning to a different role altogether. So that's the whole process of, one, unblocking your limiting beliefs, and two is really discovering who you are, your gifts, your passions, and your values, in order to arrive to what is the career, how to build a career with your life purpose, right? So yeah, it's about your natural talents. They're your gifts, right? That I truly believe that we are on earth to discover our gifts and talents, and to share that with the world. Because when we discover our gifts and talents, we are able to shine our light and contribute to the world. Of course, yes, when it comes to natural talent, right, or talent or gifts, right, there are certain gifts that we can cultivate. that we learn along the way, that, oh, okay, that piques my interest, right? So that's kind of like how your passions kind of evolve. Like, for example, I do have a particular friend who is super interested in, let's see, fashion, right? But it's more on the eco fashion, how to recycle fashion. And it only started because she started going to these events, talks, and that's how it kind of evolved. So the knowledge kind of evolved from there. There's always a few talents, natural talents that you are gifted in, right? What is it that you've always been naturally drawn to, right? In your life. So, for example, for me, I knew when I was younger, when I was at least 3 or 4, I just knew that I loved being around people. Even though I'm introverted, I just loved the feeling of helping people, but I didn't know what exactly it looked like. And it's just that whole discovery process as we evolve as people. And so you will always have one life purpose, right? Or like an underlying meaning of why you do things, right? And that why you are naturally drawn to it, but it kind of evolves over time, right? There's certain life events that happen to you that kind of shifts you as a person. And as you grow and evolve, that's what happens. Like your purpose grows with you. But there's always going to be like one thing that you're naturally drawn to.
Sometimes, sometimes when I talk to people, they say, "Oh yeah, I don't have any gifts. That I'm a." Then I guess that's where the mindset blocks are coming in. They're just like, "I'm a useless person." Blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah. So all that is their blocks and beliefs that is actually learned. So there
Oh.
must have been a certain event that happened to them in their lives. Like, for
Okay.
example, when I was younger, I had a teacher who said that I was stupid, right? And then because I'm young, right, as a kid, I'd be like, oh, I'm stupid,
Yeah.
right? And that's to a certain extent, some people don't understand like why they believe that, right? And
Okay.
that's where hypnotherapy or hypnosis actually helps. Sorry,
Very
I'm
good.
reading Desiree.
Yeah.
Like my natural gift is being talkative. Yeah. Yes, it is a gift.
It is a
I
gift.
love it. So when it comes to hypnotherapy, yeah, it really helps to really understand where this event came from and kind of shift your mindset from that belief, because that belief is not true, right? Because as a soul, or if we're talking about non-spiritual, it's like as a human being, we are born naturally pure, and we have these gifts, talents, and personalities that we have um, been given by whatever it means, like a force. And so yeah, that's uh, that's basically what the benefit of having hypnosis is. And um, all those things that you said to me was very much limiting beliefs that block them towards their life purpose. Like, I'm not good enough, I'm not confident enough. There's a lot of beliefs, like, oh, other questions that you can ask yourself: what gift do people come to you for, right?
Okay.
Or ask you for? So, YQ, I know yours, which is astrology and tarot, right? So, yeah, what gift do people come to you for or ask you for? And it might be a few things, right? And so when it comes to finding your purpose or your career, it's kind of like a mind map, right? Where you kind of say, oh, okay, this is my gift, this is my passion, this is my values, right? And then you kind of combine it to see which direction you want to take. Yeah, Alfred, the force.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And then the second thing was, what gift do people say that you are so good at? So as Desiree said, you know,
Talking.
her mother used to say that she had a sharp tongue.
Same
Yeah,
as Karudin, yeah.
Desiree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, you know, your mother, your parents, your siblings, or whoever around you will definitely tell you what you are good at. And if they don't, you can always ask them. So a very good exercise that you can do is write 5 index cards and just ask your friends, your close friends who know you most, or your family, and ask them to write down 5 things that they feel that you are gifted in, right? And then it's really looking at the commonalities of, you know, what is the theme and out there, right? Third question would be, what do you really enjoy? You know, what brings you joy? What gift do you truly enjoy doing? And then that is another clue to seeing what kind of purpose you have, and finding a career in that. Right? When I was doing a recruiter job, right, it's surprising because a lot of people actually they go from job to job, and that's part of, okay, I loved being a recruiter, by the way, and I loved connecting people to people, right? But the thing that I felt was just hearing their stories of seeing, you know, what they didn't enjoy about their jobs. Yeah, really drove me to find some deeper purpose, which is how I became a hypnotherapist, and well, soon to be, and how I became, you know, a coach mostly. Because I think like there's a difference between being a recruiter and being a career coach. Both have its benefits, but the other tool that I can recommend is just really looking at what you love, what you want to contribute, what success looks like to you, whether it's money, you know, or whatever value you have, and what you are good at. And if you are able to combine that together, then you can find your career as well.
Yeah.
And
So we have a
that,
story from Desiree.
okay. Since I was in primary two, my classmates would confide in me, sharing personal stories they would not tell anyone else, and I would listen to them cry and comfort. Puzzled me at times, as I was not particularly close to any of them. Well, yeah, so it's perfect, Des, because look what you are doing now. I mean, she's an amazing, talented spiritual teacher, my mentor as well, and also hypnotherapist too. Yeah, and then an inspiration. And so look what she's doing
Yeah.
now. Like, see, it's being able to look at, you know, what people come towards you for, and really dive deep into that and see what kind of career would be suitable to that. I mean, there's various areas that you can look into. You know, some people are talented in linguistics, some people are talented in maths and logic, which is totally not my expertise. That's why I left the banking industry. And yes, as like Kaha, I love to talk and connect with people. So this is why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. But yeah, there's a lot of things, like you could be visual, musical, kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, or you know, you'll be fascinated by science, for example, the natural world. So there's various areas that you can look at, and then dive deep into that. Of course, we don't know, because when we are young, we won't know.
Yeah.
But it's noticing what we are naturally drawn to when we are younger, but obviously we
Okay.
don't really think about it. I think when it comes to developing your talents and your gifts, right? Sometimes it's really important to have your parents notice it for you. Of course, it's not like uh, Asian tiger
Yeah.
mom style, but it's more like, oh, okay, your kid is interested in this, and then it's just developing it, and maybe it might change over time. But mostly when it comes to life purpose and career, it only kicks in, at a later stage.
Okay.
Obviously, 8 years old is way
Too
too
young.
young, unless there is a very, very big drive. Some people, they train to be, gymnasts, when they're and they just know that they are going to be that when they're older.
When you give points towards more unconventional career paths that are not typically encouraged by loved ones growing up, it takes a lot of inner strength to go against the norm to follow your true calling. Having support from
Mm,
like-minded peers and mentors help to build up that courage. Yeah, so true, so true. Yeah. Mm.
definitely. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to
Mm.
be authentically you, right?
Mm.
Like I said, like we are conditioned, in this society to believe that, you must be in an office job, you must do
Yeah.
this, you
Climb the
must go,
ladder.
yeah, you
Yeah.
must climb the ladder, get married, and have kids and earn a good living, right? Um, so being unconventional, in having a career, like even being astrologer or tarot reader, or even like building your own business in certain things, obviously maybe your family wouldn't be entirely happy about it, only because it's what they know, right?
Yes.
um, and that's the thing about having a life purpose, because I believe that we all have gifts and talents, and um, you know to me, I believe that we are given it by some higher power, and it is for us to really go and discover them and shine your light on them. And this is why we are here, because the more people that shine their light, then we are able to bring more hope to other people, right? For those that are going through the 9 to 5 jobs, for example. And yeah, and that's where, for example, life coaching or career coaching comes in to actually help you to really connect to yourself authentically. It's a career coaching is really, in essence, when you find your life purpose, it's really about being authentically you.
Mm.
And that's what it's about. It's a self discovery um, process, right? Of finding your gifts, your talents, your passions. And that's why I always tell my coachees that we are an experiment of one. We can't compare from each other. I mean, as you can tell, like every time you look at an astrological chart, it's gonna be different, right? No one person is the same, right? And so, in the process of coaching, you are able to find out who you are and embrace it, and gain that courage to put yourself out there, right? Um, to a certain extent. And I know what Rebecca is talking about, because even for me, and I've shared with you as well, that I do have that spiritual side of me, but I don't want to necessarily be like, hey guys, I'm a healer, or I'm quite a scientific logical person, and so putting myself out there as that takes guts to really embrace it, and to find a way whereby you can market yourself as a person that who is truly authentically me, right? Or you, for example. And I think it takes time. I think if when it comes to family and friends, if they see that you are succeeding, right, in what you are doing, then I think that they will accept it even more. You know, they might not get you entirely, but fundamentally, they do love you as a person.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sophie, for being here, and then
Thank
we'll see
you.
everyone soon. Bye bye.